Shalom Vracha. We in Parashat Shemini. Shemini means it was on the 8th day that Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders, and the commandment of God is telling them to take a young cattle and more and to offer it in front of Hashem. Further into this parasha, it's talking about the establishing the Mishkan, the house of Hashem. For 7 days, the sons of Israel were building the Mishkan and taking it apart. Building it and taking it apart. In the 8th day, it was the first day of the month of Nisan. They built the first Mishkan, the house for Hashem, with the help of Moses. Later on into the parasha, they talk about the sacrifices that they've done on the altar and the fire that comes from above. It was very spiritual, very holy, like sight that happening there. And in that ceremony, the 2 sons of Aaron died. They elevated too high. It says that they drank wine before they start talking spirituality, Torah, the wisdom of God, and they say an halacha in front of their master, rabbi. So God took them because they knew everything perfect. They were so holy, yet they was not accepting the yoke, Kabbalat, or the burden of Hashem. Sometimes the halacha can be of a burden, and this is a foundation in order to be successful in your path. If you will work only through your mind, through your heart, only that you can accept, only that you can understand, only that feels good with you, we cannot really progress and elevate in our work. Shemini means 8. 8, it's the number above nature. 7 belongs to the number within nature. It's the perfectness of nature. But 8 is above nature. In order to elevate really in your path, you need to have accepting a burden, doing even if you do not understand. And that's very hard. But this is a fundamental, that's a foundation, that's a very fundamental foundation to be successful in your path. Later on into the parasha, after all this holiness and light and the Mishkan and the house of Hashem is being established, we can see that God is talking to the sons of Israel. This is the animal that you will eat, and this is the animal that you would not eat. The birds, the insects, etc. There is a question that being asked: how come that you start Parashat Shemini 8 above nature? All this holiness in the beginning, building the house of Hashem, and then you're going so low, telling the Israelites, do not eat this or that. It's coming to tell us that sometimes a person can know and elevate like the sons of Aaron and know the Torah and everything, but he can fall down as well if he doesn't have accepting the yoke, the burden of the Torah. Sacrificing himself, Mesiut Nefesh, doing something even if you do not understand. That's what you've been asked, that's what you're supposed to do. If you constantly trying to dress it within your feeling, your mind, we will find ourselves sometimes like falling off the path and finding ourselves in wrong places. In this portion, Hashem is giving us amazing signs, symbols, like how to observe, how when I'm in front of a challenge, I want to take a decision within my relationships, within my patterns, how can I really change my nature? How can I know really that the path I'm walking on is a good path? So it says, anyone among the animals that has a split hoof, which is separated with a split hooves, and that brings up its cud, are the life forms that you may eat from among all the animals that are upon the earth. What God is trying to tell us, when we're walking in our journey, we have the power through our eating and drinking. God is telling us you're supposed to eat kosher. Why? It's enough the negativity that maybe we were born with, or maybe we collected it from our life upbringing. When we're eating something that is not kosher, that we eat is being dressed with our blood. And by that, we're taking the negativity, the negative traits out of the animal into ourselves. And it's enough the darkness we have with ourselves. We don't need more than that. So when you're eating a kosher behema that have a split hooves and chewing its cud, meaning the animal chewing the food, swallowing it, and then bringing it up again, chewing it again, and the process, it's happening again. For example, in a cow, we have 4 stomachs. So it's entering first stomach, then moves to the other stomach, being the cud is being chewed again, and moved to the third stomach, and then from the fourth stomach out. Those signs belong to the animal that we can eat, and they're telling us something in our journey. When you are observing, and we learn that we really need to get into an observation before we follow something. For example, you want to talk right now with your friend over the phone and you want to tell him something that is really important. Before that, get into an observation. Observe that you want to say. And remember that when you're observing something, there are 2 people over there observing, like 2 images, 2 forces, let's be more accurate. It's the good inclination and the evil inclination. It's the light and darkness. They are both observing the same situation, scenario, that thing, that decision, that challenge that you want to go forth or to shoot out of yourself. And usually we have our patterns, our ego, our habits. When that's going to happen, sometimes we get confused between what is good and what is wrong. And sometimes even the evil inclination, he's so wise that he can, wear a hat of a chassid and look so innocent, and you're thinking that what you're doing is good, and you don't know that actually in that time, you're observing through the wrong eyes this scenario or situation. So what are the signs? How I take those signs that have been received from God? Split hooves and chewing the cud. What is it telling us in Avodat Hashem Shelanu, in our journey? In order not to fall to stress, to waste energy into friction. So remember, when we're observing something, we're seeing it through 2 images. Let's see. The first sign is split hooves. The hooves separates between the animal and the earth. There is a natural separation within each and every one of us between the spiritual and the physical, between the spiritual life and the mundane. It says that the hooves supposed to be split, meaning that you should allow the light of spirituality, the light of the Torah, the divine wisdom to enter into your mundane life, into your physical. For example, if you eat food, allow yourself to contemplate, observe the fact that you eat food. So when you're eating only for your pleasure, only for your needs, so we say the 2 images right now, eating the food. So it's the wrong side. It's the dark side of the force right now, enjoying the food only for its interest, only for its comfort. But the other side, the holy side, the good side within us, saying, when he will observe the fact that we're eating right now this food and enjoying whatever comes out of this earth from this physicality, what is it? What is it? Its purpose. What is it for? What I'm going to do with it? Someone else going to enjoy it, or it's only for my benefit? Am I so centered in myself? Am I so bothered with my comfortabilities? So when I'm dealing with the earthly things, with the mundane, with the physicality, I don't care about anything. I care just about how it's going to serve me for my purpose. The split hooves saying, and those are the animals we're supposed to eat, so we'll have the power to do it, because this is a kosher behema. We can, in order to do that work, that we can allow spirituality to come into our physicality, into our mundane, we have to be mindful that when we're dealing with the physicality, we need to ask ourselves, for example, for what purpose it is. How can I serve a fellow being? How can I serve God? How can I serve this creation I'm within, or I'm just self-centered with my own interest and comfort? The second thing about the split hooves, we can see that the split hooves have two sides in them. There is the hooves and it's splitted, meaning there is right and left. A person supposed to observe his own nature. We in Parashat Shemini, we want to elevate above our nature, above our habits and patterns. Be mindful how you react to certain scenarios, to things in life. There is a certain way, you have a habit to react towards things in a certain way. For example, you're seeing something in your reality that need to be changed, need to be worked with. You have your pattern, your way, how you're going to deal with it. You need to develop another nature. And in order to do that, you need to walk with the affirmation that tells you that there's always another way. In general, there are two basic lines, right and left. Left is the line of fire. Right, it's the line of water. When you react, usually you're in a constant way fiery within you, meaning looking at the justice, at what's the right thing to do, and then you'll find yourself very like criticizing yourself, or in criticism towards the other person. You're criticizing the scenario constantly. You're seeing it on the left side, on the dark side of it. Or you as well, water. You can see the good in it. You're training your eye, your mind, to see it as well on the right side. The Lubavitcher Rebbe is giving an amazing example. It says, Ohev et habriot umekarvan laTorah, loving his fellow beings, all human beings, and bringing them close to the Torah, to the wisdom of God. The question is, do you bring the Torah towards the people? You bring it down towards the people so they'll believe in it? Or you elevate the people towards the Torah? Meaning, when you want to bring someone close to the divine wisdom and you want to share with him this beauty, make sure that you don't bring this wisdom down low to where he's at, but you elevating him up to the Torah. Meaning, where there's things that you can compromise, you're compromising. But when there's things that this is the halacha and you cannot compromise, so you do not compromise. And when you're building those two natures within you, you can be almost guaranteed that this is the right way, that's the path to walk on. And you'll suffer less stress, less weaknesses, less disappointments in your journey. The second mark is chewing its cud. What does it mean, animal that chewing its cud? Meaning chewing the food, then it elevates, being chewed again, and then again going down. Before any situation, any scenario, before you falling into any story in your life, in your relationship, at work, love relationship, with the family, between friends, you're going to say something. You're going to express, to react yourself. Build this habit. Wait, I want to look it over. I want to check it. Sometimes don't check it too much. Don't, ruin your flow with things. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying do not feel your intuition, of course. But within that you flow with your intuition, check things out. See if this is the appropriate way to deal with things. Am I going to do the right thing? Sometimes we know that there's like fires in life that even when you see yourself getting into fire, you have to go through it in order to elevate it. Here we're talking about coaching according to the portion of the week, how I can coach myself in order not to touch those fires that are going to harm myself, my journey. So think things over before you're going to open a business. It's really, this is what I want to do. Before you're going to change job, think over the things, chew it, and see if this is the right thing to act, to react. Is this is the right thing I'm supposed to do? And the last sign that is not mentioned in the verse, but we're seeing it in the portion within Rashi, it says that even when we receive the whole signs of the birds, the bird's kingdom, what kind of birds we can eat, for like chicken and things like that, we still need to receive it from our ancestors that this chicken or this bird you can eat, and those are the signs, meaning accepting from the elders. To us it's saying you can learn Torah, you can dwell with divine things, but sometimes you can find yourself so low. Why? Because you allowed yourself to translate and to understand things according to your mind. And your mind is beautiful. Your mind is divine. But maybe it's not limited. Maybe it's, limited, not like the elders. When the elders, meaning the mentor, the rabbi, consult with him, ask him, look over things with him and see what he received from his ancestors in certain situations. Because not everything is within the book. Of course, everything within the book, but do we have the eyes to see it? So when you are working with a fellow being, with someone that can help you, with a rabbi, with a mentor that can guide you, then you can make sure that you're walking in the right path. All the best. See you in the next portion, and good luck.